Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is your man Big L. I'm back again. Here it is. I know y'all used to seeing me. Hey, what's going on? This is Big L. I know y'all used to seeing me on Mondays. We go to the post, me and Commish. However, hey, KD, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I'm repping y'all again. I got that Prison City happening. It's like, I know I'm a member, hey, baby. I know I'm a member of the Orlando Raider Nation. We got our own gear, but hey, I gotta call a spade, man. Y'all's cut is what's up, man. I love it. How y'all doing out there this evening? Hey, Brian Orwig, what's going on, man? How you doing? Like I said, once again, it's your boy Big L. I'm just coming at y'all, seeing what we can figure out what to talk about. Oh, kill, what's good? You know, chop it up here during the off season, silly season. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and we get like camp. Hey, can somebody share this into the Orlando Raider Nation? Because I can't do it from, my situation right here. Yeah. Hey, Mike, I was gonna get on that tonight. George, what's going on? I'm doing fine, and as you can see, after the meeting, and y'all hear dangerous situations going on in the other room, but anyway, I ain't had shit to do with it, I promise. But you know what? He'd be feeling better if he had what's in the cup. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Hey, Barry, what's going on? Lines, what's happening? I'm not associated or affiliated with anybody in there making noise right now. What's going on, JD? What's going on with Mac? The disclaimer reads, Khalil Mack has not been signed. We are in negotiations with Khalil Mack. He is a very important part of what we have planned to do today. When there are any progressions in the contract negotiations with Khalil Mack and his agents, we will let you know. Sincerely, Reggie McKenzie and Raider front office, we love you, Raider Nation for life. End edit. Okay, you got your Khalil Mack update. Elmani, what's going on? Oh, the cup? Oh, see. Hey, Leslie. Here we go. You want to know what's in the cup, man? I'll let you know. I don't ever have a problem with that. What's in the cup is right here. And you see it's topped off. I've been accused of it being an old man's drink. Hola, Matt. How you doing? The old man's drink is gin and, pretty much whatever you got to put in it, whatever you like. Me, tonic, little juice, whatever's clever. Sometimes straight. Hey, what's going on? Kamish is in the building. Y'all can give him a holler. You know what? Exactly. I mean, dude. Okay, that was the plan the whole time of all of this. Everybody's freaking out and spazzing. Oh, he's not in camp. Oh, he's not in camp. Look, hey, Joel, what's going on? It was going to take one of them blinking, okay? So, Donald is the one that's in the news talking about blinking his eyes first. So his agent is putting it out there that he may, sign before camp, which is fine with me. Hot Neil, my man, what's going on? Ben, I don't know if you heard me the first time, but what's happening? Like I said, I've been holding it down every week. Sometimes, most of the time, Monday, the last couple of weeks has been on Wednesday. But, I'm here to tell you, man. Look, once Donald gets signed, Mac will be in camp 2 days later. At max. Hot Neil. Oh, my fingers over the thing again. But yeah, Tommy Beard, what's going on? Yeah, the reality of it is, dude, right now it's a price war. And I'd rather this price war go on this year than next year. Because in reality, he's gonna do whatever needs to be done to be a part of this. And hey, Nathaniel, Louisiana, I got a lot of family, and my best friend from law school is down there. He lives in Hammond. But you know, there are gonna be no fines for Khalil Mack. Don't even start with that extra unnecessary drama. I'm not the one you want to start drama with. You're new to this game. Don't start that shit with me. But anyway, Chris Picks, what's happening? See? Yeah, exactly. He's in shape. He's ready to roll. He knows what's about to go down. And those of us that, thank you, Leslie, again, yeah, that right there, that's velour. That's why it shines so bright in the night. Uh-huh. See, we're going to come at you old school, but we're going to add a little flair to it. But yeah, see, the reality of it is, Mac's going to be in camp. He knows what's about to happen this year. And for all those prognosticators, you know, like everybody wants to get mad at Colin Cowturd. But the reality of it is the turd picked us to win the Super Bowl last year. So, you know, for all of you that want to get mad because we got picked to finish last, I'm sure all of y'all have our Lombardi trophy from last July when we got picked to win everything, right? Hot Neil, Steve-O, you need to ask the commish about the juice. And the thing is, nah, Romanowski don't need to be nowhere near a microphone. Absolutely nowhere, because if he gets pissed off, it's going up somebody's ass. You know, remember, he was a Bronco, so he is very familiar with that orifice, and he probably enjoys it a whole lot. Y'all can love him as a Raider, but the motherfucker was a Bronco for longer. So fuck him. Okay? Thank you. So that's enough of the Romanowski talk. What's going on, Jukebox? Man, that tastes good. Something about them potatoes that when they get seasoned right, they're beautiful. So anyway, yeah. I mean, people say once a Raider, always a Raider. I'm that nigga to say bullshit. If you a Raider first, you're a Raider for life. You know, if you join the bandwagon, then, you know, if you come secondhand, it all depends on what you did in your first life. Now, in Romanowski's first life, first off, he played across the bay, which makes him gay. Then he went to Denver, and I don't remember what fool got in his face, but he spit in a Raider's mouth. So unless we get pictures of him begging for forgiveness in the locker room and maybe tossing a couple of salads, he didn't bring no rings to us. He's a motherfucking Bronco. And anybody that thinks different, come see me. Fuck you and Romanowski. You can take that to the bank, because I'll scare the motherfucker with a pee bottle and he'll run and shrivel up. You know? So anyway. And that's the thing I'm talking about, O'Kill. That's what I was about to get into. Randy, what's going on? No. Hot Neil, you ain't getting the cup pimping. I can tell you where to get one. Ooh, and I got a banger for when the season starts. If y'all like this one, you gonna love what I got for the season. But check this here. Yeah. Nah, Chris, Alzado's not a true Raider. Alzado played on the team. He won a Super Bowl with us. He played in Denver, and he played in Cleveland. So basically, he was pure bullshit. He was pure bullshit. And then he redeemed himself by putting on the silver and black before they found that softball-sized steroid cup in his ass and he died. So that's my take on Alzado. But my reality of it is this. Mac's going to get signed 2 days after Donald. Mac will be in camp, and when he's in camp, he's going to have saran wrap on. He's going to participate in drills. He's going to do contact stuff. But when it comes to that 7-on-7 and that 5-on-5, you know, when the front seven are doing everything, yeah, the people trying to make the team are not going to see him. Khalil Mack will see extensive on-field work week 3. He will see a series in week 4. So the offseason was basically getting him in tune for the first 3 weeks of camp. You ain't putting your cash money maker out there when you already know what he's bringing to you. I'll get at you. L Money, hit me up in PMs and I'll let you know. But the thing is, and that, there you go, Chris. Once they know how much money they have left, Bowman's gonna be in here. T Courts, what's going on? And that's just plain and simple. There's a reason Bowman hasn't signed anywhere. I went over that last week. Bowman hasn't signed anywhere because he went and found out how much he was worth on the market so he could come back and give the Raiders a realistic price, and then maybe even was going to give them a hometown discount. But the thing is, the one thing that Bowman didn't do was play this shit out in the media, which is getting him mad respect, and it's probably going to get him more love from the front office than anything else. Yeah. And see, Tommy, no, he's gonna have to get, you know, Tommy, I would almost agree with you, but the reality of it is he's got to play in week 3 because it's been since December. So, you know, coming into the season, it will have been 9 months since his shoulders and since he's had real contact. And even though he'll be in some light contact and some, you know, shorts and helmets, contact with his shoulder pads in practice during the preseason, he's going to need to get some preseason action in to get, you know, lack of a better term, live fire. So he can get that feeling back in his bones, you know. Because, you know, I don't know if you play football, but, you know, there ain't nothing like, you know, getting that chill down your spine with that first real hit. And he's not going to get that in practice. He's only going to be able to get that full speed. And in practice, he's going to be advised against going full speed because he wants his body completely fresh for the season, which is why he will go full tilt week 3, go 1 series week 4, and then sit there. So in essence, he'll have 2 weeks to get ready for week 1. And you know week 1's going to be a banger because we playing the gay Niners. So we're going to come out. No, are we playing the Niners or the Lambs? I don't remember. But either way, we're basically going to be exerting our dominance over the state of California, which we've done since 1960. And that's just basically the way it's going in. And then Bowman's going to be the quarterback. If we get Bowman back in the middle, our linebacker core is completely solid. Because the reality of it is that's going to swing Johnson out. That's going to swing Johnson out. I went over this last week too. It's going to swing Johnson out to the strong side. And then, old boy from Detroit that we signed, it's going to swing him over to the weak side. So on one side, we're going to have the run completely locked down. And then we're going to have a three-headed monster at defensive end with Key, Irvin, Mack. And we'll figure out the 4 tackles we're going to keep because I honestly think we're going to keep 4 tackles and not 3. Because, I mean, Edwards, he may be a goner, man. I mean, if he's still, yeah, he lost weight and he was looking good. Yeah, Tahir Whitehead. Thanks, O'Kill. But the reality of it is Mario can look real good, but you know what? He can look real good in another uniform too. Trade bait. Let him show out. But you know what? If we got a couple of, young D tackles that are already at the level that his ass took 4 years to get to, that's money gone right there. That's an upgrade. Because if they're already at the level it took his ass 4 years to get to, why keep him at an inflated salary? Bye. And that's the other thing, Let me see what I had written down here. Okay, let's look at the offensive line. Okay, we have one of the best backup interior linemen in Feliciano. That's just bottom line. He's one of the best. Okay, he can be the meanest whatever. He's still not a Raider. He's not a Raider. Majority of his career was played somewhere else. Okay, I'll get at you on money after this. But, you can be mad or whatever, disagree, whatever you want. I personally don't consider Al Alzado a Raider. I remember him more as a Cleveland Brown first, then a Denver Bronco. So he was a master of the losing arts. Then he came to the Raiders and rectified what ailed him. That don't make him a Raider. And the steroids is what drove him crazy. A real Raider don't need drugs. They enjoyed them quite a bit, but they don't need them. So, and my thing is this here, man. So back to the O-line. Feliciano, we have one of the best interior linemen in the backfield. I'm going to get to the whole broadcasting situation in a minute. I feel like the on-field stuff is important, and then we can dedicate some time to that ridiculous decision. But there's some history behind that decision that I don't know if everybody knows about. So I'll talk about Jim. I don't know if he'll be back. I don't know if they're going to maintain Jim, because I know Flores. Okay, y'all going to make me talk about this first, so I'll talk about it, and I'll get back to the O-line second. But the reality of the O-line is there's pretty much going to be probably going to keep Kirkland, get rid of everybody else that was behind him. And Kirkland's basically just going to be a body to beat up on in practice while Brandon Parker and Colton Miller get up to speed, and then he's going to be gone or traded or whatever, because, mid-season after somebody gets hurt, somebody's just going to want a warm body. Yeah, that's what he claims. It's because his personality fit our team, but he's still not he's not a Raider. Not to me. He can claim it. I mean, I'm glad he wants to be part of it, but he's a fan just like we are. He won rings in San Francisco. I think he may have won a ring in Denver. He only claims Raiders because his personality fits our mystique. I mean, if it wasn't for him claiming Raider mystique, who would remember him other than for being a steroid monster and a freak? And what other team has that mystique of being the outcast, of being the villains? We've been the league villain since 1960. Romanowski was a villain the day he walked off the campus of Penn State. He was probably a villain when he was on the campus of Penn State. And see, Michael, that's what I was going to get to. Okay, I'll get back to the offensive line. Look. Greg Papa he often called Al Davis his second father. No, I'm not Jesus Christ. Don't claim to be one, but I do fear him. So, there's that one in a nutshell, Randy. Papa was close. No, I'm the incredible sexy, boy. What you talking about, Hulk? I don't turn green. I just get bronze, baby. What? That's just sexy, Hot Neil. That's just sexy. This is what sexy looks like in a bonus package. That's all. That is all. Don't you worry about me, baby. I mean, Hot Neil, I'm sure you got some sexy with you. You just gotta own it, like your boy does. So anyway, Papa was like, he considered Al Davis his second father. And behind the scenes, basically, everybody that hasn't agreed with Mark Davis or the way he's doing things are gone, or they're slowly leaving. And the thing was that there was no guarantee that Greg Papa was going to make the move to Vegas anyway. So there was a good chance that this is the chance that he was going to, there was a very good chance that he was not going to be with the team next year or in 20. The fact that it's going to happen a year earlier is what's surprising everybody. Now, the fact that it's Brent Musburger, that's a surprise, because it's almost as if Brent is a stopgap for this year. No, Randy. Jim Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls as a Raider. He is a Raider. He had his greatest years as a quarterback, greatest years as a professional football player in Oakland. He played his longest tenure on any football team he ever played on in Oakland. Jim Plunkett is a Raider. That's the definition. That's the difference. He didn't tag along. He resurrected his career and became a Raider. Rich Gannon became a Raider. He was a journeyman quarterback at best until he came here, took the reins, led the team, became the focal point of the offense. He became a Raider. Alzado came here and got a bunch of penalties. He wasn't the focal point of nothing but getting a couple of rules changed so you couldn't take off your helmet on the field and you couldn't use it as a weapon. That's Raider-ish, but he's still a Bronco. What can I say? He didn't make no Pro Bowls. He didn't do shit in Oakland other than get fines, get drunk. I had an old coach that was a teammate of his. That's all they did. They partied, got fines, and showed up and played. And that was the other thing I was going to say, Mike. Okay, Alzado wasn't there on the second one. He wasn't there. I mean, Papa is Raider. Papa's been with the Raiders for 21 years. Well, 22 going if you count this season. So that's hard because he replaced the legend. And then he became a legend. So now, oh, I did it again. Sorry about that. I got you back, you guys. Okay. And so that's just the way it is, everybody that was affiliated with Al that doesn't agree with what... Hey, Davin, what's going on? I don't think I said hey to you. But everybody that didn't agree with Al, or that agrees with Al, that sees issues with the way Mark is doing things are slowly being weeded out. It's not the fact that Mark Davis is looking for yes men or yes women. What he's looking for is Mark people, He's looking for Mark people. He's not looking for, well, your father would have done this or your father would have done that. Because, him and Papa's beef goes back. Papa did an interview where he even said the fact that Mark Davis was even considering Mike Shanahan for the head coaching job when he hired Del Rio, Papa's on record, and he did this in a public forum. He criticized Mark Davis and said there's no way in hell that Al would have ever done anything like that. Al and Mike Shanahan have had beef since '89, and that lasted until the day Al died. So the fact that Mark brought Shanahan in for an interview, that was straight beef. And Papa told Mark Davis, if you hire him, I'll quit. And that's coming from your play-by-play on radio? Come on, y'all. And yeah, Mike. Yeah, I need a microphone, but you know what? My microphone is in the Hardcore Challenge Studios deep behind enemy lines. Hey, Davin, what's up? You watching from Hawaii? I hope you know my boy Mo. He's in the Hawaii Raider Nation Club on Oahu. But that just goes down good. I'm just saying. Oh, Hot Neil. I'm just saying. The reality of it was Jack pretty much got hired as, most people would have been cool with Shanahan, except the people that knew Al, were loyal to Al. Del Rio was a defensive guy. Our defense sucked. Randy, we can just agree to disagree. I'm not going to look up nothing on Lyle Alzado. And he had like a Jerry Curl mullet. So he was confused in more ways than one. But the reality of it is Papa's gone. I can't remember her first name. I think it's Angela Trask. She's gone out of the front office. That was an Al person. Al was trying to get the team to go to Vegas, but the problem was Pete Rozelle and the NFL weren't going to let anybody. At that point, professional sports was absolutely terrified of Vegas, because if you remember, back in the 80s when the Raiders moved to Los Angeles, Vegas was still mob run. The racket hadn't been broken up in Vegas yet. So everybody knew that was dirty money going over there. So there was nothing that they were going to do other than panic and freak out if there was a pro team over there. But the thing is, I still say this to this day. There is not another professional team on the face of this earth that typifies that city better than the Oakland Raiders. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to supplant the name Oakland and put Las Vegas in front of it. But there's things that everybody keeps talking about. Mark Davis is not going to change that iconic logo. He is never going to change silver and black. It's attached to everything that is Raider football. He can want to develop his own legacy, but he will not develop it by destroying his father's. He just won't. Because if that's what he wanted to do, yeah, I know, Randy. But, the reality of it is Al did everything until he was too senile to do it. And by the time people realized that, and Al was no longer in charge of everything, it was a different league, and everybody that was loyal to Al had to figure out and learn a new way of doing business, and it kind of messed everything up. They were 2 steps behind when everybody ran past them. So we were a little bit behind the curve. And that's the thing that I'm saying. If you look at even the professional sports teams that have come to Las Vegas, they are incorporating silver and black in their team crap, even if it's just an accent. Like the women's basketball team, the Knights' primary colors are not silver and black, but they have silver and black in their uniforms. Yes, and we're not a city or a state. We're worldwide, Randy. Yeah, I wrote that to my cousin. And I'll put that, if you check my page if you're my friend. Look, if then I'm not your friend, and then and seeing the interesting thing about Lincoln Kennedy, I was stationed in Seattle when I was in the Navy, and I knew him when he was a 19-year-old redshirt freshman. And I'd love it if they called them the Sin City Raiders, but they're not going to let that happen on league-sanctioned merchandise. But there's going to be all kinds of merch that we're going to be able to pick up that says Sin City Raiders. You might even see, this particular brother rocking some of that in the near future. But yeah, Sin City Raiders it makes more sense to tell you the truth. It just makes more sense, because calling them the Las Vegas Raiders, it sounds cute, but Sin City it just sounds so much better. But I think with Musburger, it's no problem, Hot Neil. But the thing that's just funny to me, yeah, I see you over there, Miss Mandy. I know why you like that. But it's just kind of funny because with the way this whole thing goes, and you have like Musburger, who, I mean, granted, with his gambling ties, I mean, we're about to have like a gambling prognosticator as our color commentator as we move to Las Vegas. Come on. That's just crazy. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Sin City is not a name that's going to be marketed by the league, but Sin City merchandise is already being peddled in the highways and byways of the ghetto net. I can tell you that right now. But like I said a few minutes ago, your boy Brent. He signed a 2-year deal, just long enough to space time between Greg Papa and whoever they're really going to sign to be the voice of the Raiders. Don't be surprised. I don't know if you guys out there are even remotely knowledgeable of this cat, JT the Brick. Don't be surprised if the job doesn't get offered to the Brick. He has a weekly show on from 8 to 11 Eastern time, so 5 to 8 Pacific time. Fox Sports Radio. Check him out. Hear his voice. He actually is a sideline reporter for the Raiders right now. So, damn it. I did it again. I'm sorry. I'll repeat what I said again. I'll just change hands. Fuck it. What it is, Jukebox and everybody, is the speaker or whatever port is right where it's the most ideal place for my hand to sit. So I have it covered. I don't have, what are those things called? A selfie stick or whatever. I'm just holding this with my hand. So, see, I like the way you're thinking, man. Yeah, I can move my fingers. Which one? So the reality of it is Brent's a stopgap. Papa's a legend. I think that the color job will ultimately, or the play-by-play job will ultimately be offered to JT the Brick, but they'll have to match what he makes in syndicated radio, which I don't think they're going to do. He's a sideline reporter during the season. I don't know who's out there. I don't know who would be interested in doing it. But, I mean, you figure the gig is a damn fine one. So, it would be... And, get this. The other reason why I think it's going to transition into JT the Brick. The Brick does his show. He lives in Las Vegas. And he's been around the Raiders, I think, for the last 15 years or so. So that would be a complete affiliation to Mark. He knows Mark Davis. He's Mark Davis's bud. That's why if you ever listen to his show, The one team that he's the most insightful on is the Raiders. So I wouldn't be surprised if the play-by-play or the color ended up being JT the Brick in the next couple of years. But he's been around Fox Sports Radio for 20 years, so they're going to have to come off some decent coin to get him to, pony up. They're going to have to pony up some cash. And to be honest with you, I could deal with JT because unless he's describing an Alabama quarterback's girlfriend or basically some split tail in the crowd, Brent Musburger's pretty boring as a color commentator. He's a pretty decent in-studio dude, but as a color commentator, it would be more entertaining to listen to RuPaul or the Men on Film do play-by-play on a football game. So, meanwhile, back at the ranch, all these prognosticators, like I said, Kyle Turd and the rest of them. I mean, Kyle Turd even said, we finished last in the division, and there were some out there that said we'd finish second. Yeah. The biggest problem, the biggest problem or concern with the Raiders being located in Vegas is going to be the people that aren't used to having those kind of temptations around. The veterans are going to be fine. It's the rookies going there and losing their mind. I'm pretty sure that at some point they're going to have a shuttle out to the Bunny Ranch because the Chicken Ranch is up there by Reno. And then there's the Coyote and the Jackass. And I mean, if you want the old chicks, you go up north and go to the Buzzard Ranch, I guess. I don't know. But, now back to Raider stuff. Like I was saying earlier, Feliciano, we have the best backup interior offensive lineman in football. He could, yes, his best work was in Waterboy Jukebox, I agree. Feliciano could become trade bait if these rookies develop as good as we hope they do. Best case scenario. Hey, Lori. What's up, Raider Nation? What's up with you? So we know Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, Donald Penn, they're going to be there. We know Colton Miller and Brandon Parker are going to be on the team. Okay, so that only leaves like 3 more spots on our line. Feliciano, I feel like it's locked up. Hey, Lori. I said it again because I like the name. But what we got to remember is we signed 2 free agents because, Kalichi's going to be there too. Don't forget. Kirkland, he's definitely, and that's the thing, Lines. Feliciano can play center and guard. That's why I said he's the best interior backup in the NFL, I personally think. Because not only can he back up, he can start. Remember when they had to move Hudson over to guard? Feliciano came in and shut it down. So I think Kirkland's done. And whoever I can't remember. Kirkland was the stiff that was out there playing right tackle. That's why we signed Giacomini in the free agency. He's a monster, and he's over there on the right side. He's, there's your stopgap tackle until Parker's ready to take over the job. And then, you have a really good rookie at backup. We'll find out how good he is probably the first 2 weeks of camp. Whether or not he moves up, the depth chart. And I think that Colton Miller's going to replace Penn, but it's going to be, it's going to be a crapshoot. I mean, not a crapshoot. We have a very solid offensive line. And then, also, hey, We have a new admin. We have a new staff member here at RAIDER ReACTION. Lori, shout out Lori Palomo. Welcome to the nation. Welcome to the ReACTION. You'll get to know us. You ain't got to like us, but you'll learn to love us. Quoting that bronze poet Ric Flair. But anyway, I called him a bronze poet. I don't try to sound like him and none of that other shit that you're going to hear in about 30 minutes. However, cornerback battle. I mean, we always talk about Conley. We always talk about Rashaan Melvin. However, everybody always forgets about Leon Hall. See, we could have our two starters in our nickel corner right there. And I am also guilty of forgetting about Leon Hall. He's a free agent too. It's not guaranteed Rashaan Melvin's going to be that number 2. Hell, if Conley is not a felon, Wade, he is going to do whatever he can to crack that top 2. Leon Hall was the backup in Carolina. Carolina's defense wasn't too damn shabby. He wasn't too damn shabby because for limited playing time, he showed out whenever he was on the field. Now he sees his opportunity to start on a team with a that is like not just hungry, they're like starving. You know, so he's starving. He wants to get some of that Conley Melvin money. And he's young. Our defensive secondary is young, except for Grandpa Predator back there, and he's pretty much a camp body to teach everybody before he gets released, and then re-signed for the league minimum. If that, he may not get re-signed, but that's just the way it goes. You know, I mean, and remember, people forget about Worley. They forget Sharice Wright. Anybody know the name Antonio Hamilton? Antonio Hamilton is the one leftover defensive back that played he's the defensive back with the most experience as a Raider on the team right now. He started 8 games last year. I mean, that's kind of like saying he's the one piece of shit that didn't have corn in him. But nonetheless, hey, Jermaine, what's happening? I think that the battle, I mean, you can't forget about Melvin, though, because, see, I look at it like this. Our cornerback going into camp, top 4, will be Conley, Melvin, Hall, Worley, and Wright will fight it out. But see, the other thing that you guys forget, hey, good night, Hot Neil. Sleep well. I hope you're still recovering good, bud. Y'all forget that we drafted Nick Nelson out of Wisconsin in the 4th round. Dude's not it's not like we drafted him for a camp body. That's a 4th round pick. He's not that bad. So the reality of it is you never know what's going to happen once you get to camp. You know, there's people in the Hall of Fame, Kurt Warner, that was a camp body that turned into something. Randy, why I gotta be Yoda, man? Can't I be like Lando? I don't want to be Samuel L. Jackson's character because, you know, he got his shit cut off and fell out the window. Nah, I want to be the cool brother, you know, with the process and the cape, you know. Back in the day, you know, in the hood, we always wanted capes. We thought the Isley brothers was ghetto Supermen because of the way they dressed up. So, and I'm thinking, you know, like I said, the slot. Oh, you were talking about the slot when you were talking about Melvin and Wright. or Worley. Look, I mean, it's pretty much, hey, David, what's going on? I just feel like, Conley at 100% is a lock to take down one of those two spots. I think that the other side, it's going to be between Melvin and Hall. If Hall's not the 2, he will be the 3 at worst. He's going to see a lot of time on the field because he has proven, he has, where we got younger, we also upgraded. We got a lot of experience floating around on that team via free agency in the secondary where we needed it. There's not going to be a whole lot of clowns running around back there. And if they are, it's going to be because they're fetching water or fixing getting the dirt out of cleats. They're going to be having signs. We'll work for game tickets. Just so they can go to the club and say they part of the team, Get some of that straggler strange, if you know what I mean. But, another position that is unsettled from top to bottom is tight end. I mean, yeah, Jared Cook led us in receptions last year. But, hey, J. Chuck, what's happening? But that's really not saying much given last year. I mean, last year's pretty much a career dump for everybody except Khalil. And, I mean, Marshawn had 900 yards rushing last year, and he had all of that in the first 3 quarters because them idiots didn't play him in the 4th quarter. So, I look at it like, going into camp again, Jared Cook, Lee Smith and Farrell Brown. Yeah, but, I mean, I forgot how deep our depth chart was at corner. Obi's going to be in trouble, man. If he can't get off the training table, he may be an early camp cut. Or he may be one of those when a couple of teams get a couple of injured people, Obi may be a trade, just a straight up trade. I mean, yeah, he was a 3rd round pick last year, but he's been on the training table. Basically, he's been on the training table more than Ben Gay. I mean, we all need Obi to shine. I'd love to see the draft pick pop up and show the promise that got him drafted number 3. Or in the 3rd round, not number 3. Forgive me. Whew. But the reality is, I still think our best rookie is going to be Mo Hurst. I think our 4-man rotation right now, I'm just assuming, depending on if the rookies come in and play up to what we hope they will, I think it'll be a rotation of PJ Hall, Hurst, Vander whatever, the big white dude. And the crapshoot is for that 4th spot. So, yeah, I mean, when you had as poor coaching as they had last year, throwing any rookie in that defensive secondary I'd have been scared because you would have went out there and you wouldn't have known what the fuck to do. Hell, I don't even think they watched game film the way that our secondary covered. I mean, it took Ken Norton's ass to get fired. And my disclaimer about this again, I will say, never trust a motherfucker that wore baby blue in college as his home uniform. Never trust anybody from UCLA. That's why Arizona fucked up. They drafted the wrong quarterback. But Mo Hurst, Arden Key, that shit's going to be dangerous. I think Key, because the thing is, we know if something happens to our top 3 linebackers, you can always push Irvin back, stand him up, and let him play outside. See, the fact that we have on the backside, we have hybrid ends. Both of our ends are outside linebackers that they're putting their hand in the dirt. That opens us up to all kinds of crazy coverages on defense. You know, we can drop 7 and have the same defense on the field as if we were to rush 7 or rush 6. That backside, that weak side defensive end, he's going to basically be a hybrid because the starter and the backup are big outside linebackers. And Irvin wasn't too bad with coverage either. So, with that being said, we got to push up the middle. It's going to be a bitch to run that way. It's going to be a bitch to pass that way. You aren't going to be able to roll out either way. If we put pressure on the quarterback, that makes our DBs that much better. And if we have a couple of good cover corners to start with, shit's going to get kind of crazy. Ask Chris Ray Finkel. Jukebox, that's funny. But, you know, I don't know, even, you know, we didn't have a chance to get Chubb. No, did we? No, we didn't have a chance to get Chubb. We traded down. But you know what? I'm okay with what we did in the draft. You notice how everybody's draft gets applauded when they had weaker shit than we do? Ours gets just bombarded. San Diego is lauded so much for their off-season moves, and we get lambasted for ours. We basically upgraded at every position that we went after. You know, I just don't see... Yeah, J-Chuck, I agree. But then again, you can say that about everybody that comes out of LSU except Jarwallish Gristle. They always end up being better pros than they were in college. I mean, 2 of the top 10 receivers, or 3 of the top 10 receivers actually, in the NFL went to LSU. When the last time LSU had a passing game? I'll wait. Yeah, see, they didn't. But you know what? I'm glad. I love the fact that we are supposedly flying under the radar because, see, I don't know. Last time I checked, our radar looked damn fine. I'm loving this fact. But like I said, y'all go out there, screenshot, do whatever you need to do. And see, that's what I'm saying. David, we have, with proper coaching, we have a core group of linebackers that's going to surprise and shock the world. Well, outside those top 3, I mean, just imagine what you could do is if we get this linebacking core in order and you can swap out, you know, Whitehead and Johnson to give them rest. And Bowman every now and then. Now see, you don't have to curse the conversation by mentioning Aldon Smith. I mean, please, he's going to join Greg Hardy in MMA. And I'm still waiting on Greg Hardy to fight a real heavyweight so he can get the shit beat out of him. And then, yes, Jermaine, that's why I didn't even talk about receivers, because I feel like our top 4 or 5 receivers are already set. There's a couple of cats playing for that last spot. Because I'm really excited about Aitman too. I mean, come on, dude. That's like a tight end with sub 4, you know, a tight end with like 4.6 speed and hands. He's going to be a way better pro, I think. He's going to end up having better, I'll say he'll have better opportunities as a pro than he did as a collegiate. Even though he wasn't bad at Okie State, I think he'll be way better as a pro because of his ability in short yardage and red zone to be complete mismatches. You line him up in the slot or you line him up as that H-back where he lines up in the tight end position, so you have to cover him with a safety or a linebacker. I mean, basically, you move him down. I mean, I think this is way too much praise, and we haven't seen him yet. But he could be a Gronk type but he's a little bit smaller, but he's the same height. And he's about 15 pounds lighter. But he's a big receiver, which is why he could transition into linebacker or tight end real easy, I think. Or just be an H-back like Hunter Henry, who we won't have to deal with this year since he decided he went left and his knee said, no, I want to go to the beach. Not sleeping on Azim. Like I said, we got a whole heap and hell of a lot of people sitting there waiting to get coached. We have a whole shitload of people that's waiting to get coached. And I mean, and that's the thing. Yeah, Martavis Bryant is fast as hell. You know what I love? I love how many people mispronounce his name and call him Martavius. No, it's Martavis. Y'all just think that, you know, in the hood, we put an avius on everything. No, it's just Martavis. His mama, you know, decided to get cultured or whatever. I don't know what the fuck, but his name's Martavis, not Martavius. You know, that's all I'm saying. Ariel, if you out there, what's popping? I just saw you pop into the group. But the reality of it is, man, is, yeah. And see, that's what I mean, we got a lot of toys to play with this year, and if they're coached up right, man, things could be beautiful. And I'd love more than to just, you know, take the virtual limp dick and just run around the NFL slapping people in the head with it. Just, pow, take that. What? Pow! There's your prediction right there. You know, just beat them with a hose. You know, just do stepbrother style and just drag your nuts across the Lombardi trophy when we pick it up and just walk out with it. What's up, Kurt? You know, that's what we got to do. We just got to handle business. It's one of those things where nobody expects us to do anything, because you see what happens when people put expectations on us last year. Shit just went down the tube, but then we didn't have a coaching staff to do nothing. And yeah, I agree, J. Chuck. Martavis and Amari are competing for that contract. They're competing to see who gets paid. Depending on how things turn out, they might end up having to figure out a way to pay both of them. Because once you get Khalil taken care of, you know, Navarro's going to be bargain. And with Azim Victor over there, we'll have a young outside backer to be groomed, because Johnson's old as hell. So, looking forward, if everything works the way we hope it does. Oh, and that's the other thing. Yeah, Martavis does have history. So, even if he does earn the big contract, his contract's going to be incentive-laden. So that's going to work in the team's favor. So we still may end up, if they both play and they both show out, we can get them both back, because Martavis is going to have to take what he can get. Because I'm pretty sure we're the only team that was willing to put up any money for his ass this year. And he's going to show gratitude. Dudes that don't have any strikes left are real happy and real humble when somebody goes out there and takes a flyer on them and shows them, look, we know you can do this, so why don't you come over here and do your thing, and, you know, you show us what you can do, and we'll compensate you next year. Now, Amari's on that other shit. Amari's on that, you fooled us once last year. Now, we're going to give you this 1-year extension. You do it again, we throwing your ass to the wolves. You can lie to somebody else, because, you know, Martavis is taller and faster. However, it would be deadly if we had all three of them. Bryant, Cooper, and Jordy Nelson. You know, that would be the ideal situation. But if we can't do it, We got to pick one. I can't think of a better way to decide who's going to be your number one than to have a competition. So, y'all, I've covered pretty much everything I planned on covering. Got the O-line out the way, got the tight end situation. I think it's going to be Jared Cook, Lee Smith, and don't sleep on Derek Carrier. We got him from the Rams. So we know he can catch. The problem is we need one that can catch and block real good. That's what we're going to need. However, that's ideal. We know we have a combo platter that can get the job done if need be. However, if Carrier can be the all-in-one tight end, that means that we won't have to carry three. That'll open up a spot for somebody. So I think that the more players that we find that can do a 2-in-1, a dual role, the better off we're going to be. Now we know Coop can play the slot and the outside. He was in the slot when he went for 200 on Kansas City. We know Jordy, if he has to, he can do it, but he's a better asset outside. I think Aitman would be best served because of his size as a slot or an H-back. I don't think in the NFL he has the speed to be out there with the outside. On the outside, corners would be able to cover him all day because of his size. And the fact that not his size, but the fact that he's slow. Our O-line, I look at our O-line like we have 2/3 of it taken care of. We got to figure out what's happening on that front side tackle, and then we'll be all right. Because that's just the way it goes. Because we got Gabe Jackson on that right guard spot. We just need, and we have Feliciano backing him up. So Feliciano could beat out Gabe, and then Gabe would be the trade bait. So, I'm about to get out of here. I thank y'all for tuning in. We love you here at Raider Reaction. And once again, Orlando Raider Nation, if y'all in Central Florida and y'all looking for a watch party, y'all looking for somewhere to just come hang out, have fun, be ignorant. Y'all saw how we did it Sunday, and that was a Sunday. There was people getting up and going to work after that madness. We love y'all. I love doing this. I love representing my team. I love representing my club. I love representing the nation. So, with that being said, peace, love, Raider Nation.